Hi, I'm Jeff, and welcome to another one of my videos where I take a look at all the new comic books coming out on either January 17th or 18th, 2023. And I ask myself the question, what one new comic book would I buy this week if I could buy just one book? Today's video should be a pretty short one, so let's jump right into it first by taking a look back at my pick from 2 weeks ago, which was Spy Superb, issue number 1, and the question remains, was it a worthy and worthwhile pick to be my just one book pick of the week? And the answer is yes. Oh boy, yes. I really like it. In fact, I might call it superb. I couldn't resist. Okay, so yeah, it was really, really good. Now, let me tell you what the negatives are. The art style, in my opinion, is rudimentary. It's not much to look at visually. That being said, the art style is really effective. Meaning, one, because the art style was rather rudimentary, once again, I'll use the term, it really encouraged me to focus in on the words, on the dialogue, on the story that was being told. And the story that was being told was really, really good and really, really interesting. In addition, another kind of plus about the art style is that the character designs were really great. Even though the art itself is pretty straightforward and not really anything special, the character designs told me a lot about what I needed to know about who these characters are, what they're all about. They're easily identifiable from each other. Our main character, so to speak, who is this oblivious spy, so to speak, I felt like if I had just read the description of him, I would have been like, okay, I think I know who this is. But when you put the character design on top of it, I was like, okay, I really know who this guy is. So as much as I might take a check away from the art style, it really was effective in a lot of different ways. But what was great was the story. There are a handful of characters of note in this story, all of which I am interested in knowing more about. I can't believe it's only a 3-part series. It seems like there would be a lot more story there. Granted, they do promise to be oversized issues, and I'm glad that at least the first issue was oversized because it really gave me all the context, all the information about the entity that's got this program of spies who don't know they spy, who they are spies, and this guy who gets kind of sucked into it. It's really, really good. I really, really liked it a lot. I highly recommend it. If you haven't already picked it up, I would go pick it up. I totally think it's worth it. But keep in mind, if you didn't see it on your shelf before, and let's say you were looking for this right here, that you see this image that they provided of the A cover, this is not what you're going to see on the shelf. What you will see on the shelf is this. Yeah, I was really surprised when I saw this. It's basically upside down. It's basically a Trader Joe's grocery bag. Trader Joe's is a grocery store. It's Trader Joe's paper bag, and written on it, I don't know if you can see, it says, Spy Superb is a trader. It says right there. On the back, there's like a receipt of groceries, and that's what the UPC symbol is. This cover is actually underneath this cover. It's almost kind of like a intentional double cover situation. It was pretty fun. I appreciated the little extra something there. So make sure you look for this on the shelves and not that. But once again, I highly recommend Spy Superb. Go get it. All right, let's go ahead and move forward now and take a look at the books that we're going to talk about that come out this week. Now, spoiler alert, this is not a good week for comic books. I'm going to talk about 4 comic books. If you have other better things to do with your time, basically, if you got like priorities and things that you're like putting off to the side to watch this video, thank you so much. Don't do that today. The rest of the books we're going to be talking about today are not very exciting. So just hit that like button, drop a comment that says see you next week, and then move on with your life. But for those of you who want to know what little bit of tidbits are coming out. Here are the 4 books I want to talk about this week. The first one I want to mention is Nightwing, issue 100 from DC. Here's the description. Art by Bruno Redondo, Nick Leonardi, Scott McDaniel, Mikel Janin, and Javier Fernandez. Come join us with big smiles and even bigger celebrations as Nightwing hits its milestone issue 100. Cheer how far we've come by looking through the decades at what has made Nightwing a beloved hero. What better way to celebrate than with familiar friends and artists? Then, with Heartless creating a lair in the heart of Bloodhaven to take Blockbuster's throne, Nightwing will follow suit, setting up a headquarters of his own, with the help of some friends who helped make him who he is now, of course. Okay, I basically just mentioned this because it's a Nightwing 100th anniversary issue. Sometimes they sneak in little key things in there. Maybe Nightwing's new home that he's going to be setting up, kind of like his own personal Batcave. Maybe that's kind of sort of key. I don't know. But Nightwing is a cool character. People have been really liking this Tom Taylor run. So it's at least worth having on your radar this week. The next book that I want to mention to you is a new book. It is Wasp, issue number 1 of a 4-issue limited series from Marvel Comics. Here's the description. Fashion designer, businesswoman, founding Avenger, Janet Van Dyne has worn many hats over the course of her superheroic career. But when an old enemy threatens Janet and her fellow Wasp, Nadia, seemingly against his will, the Van Dynes will have to confront the ghosts in their shared history to get to the bottom of the mystery. Join fan-favorite creators Al Ewing and Cassia Nye as they celebrate 60 years of the Wasp. Okay, so I mention this because it's a number 1. I am not, I guess if you want some more information about the Wasp and more backstory on the Wasp, it sounds to me like they're going to give you that, but inside of a new story, which is an effective way to tell the history of a character to get people caught up on it. So maybe if you're like, hey, I want to know more about Wasp, well, here you go. This is also written by Al Ewing. Al Ewing is very good. And so if you're a fan of Al Ewing's, maybe you consider picking this up for that reason as well. But in general, on a slow week, this is noteworthy. On any other week, maybe it wouldn't be so much. The next book I want to mention to you is a new book. It is called Immortal Sergeant, issue number 1 of an 8-issue limited series from Image Comics. Here's the description. Award-winning I Kill Giants storytellers Joe Kelly and Ken Nimura return to yank on your heartstrings with Immortal Sergeant. On the eve of his unwelcome retirement, Jim Sargent, aka Sarge, a grizzled old-school detective, catches a break on a murder case that's haunted him for decades. Unfortunately, Sarge must drag his anxiety-riddled adult son, Michael, along for the ride or risk losing the lead forever. Can this dysfunctional duo overcome their own hang-ups, blind spots, and secrets to catch a killer? Did I mention it's a slow week? It's a slow week. And this is one that's not really especially interesting to me either, but it's new. It's got some kind of interesting stuff. A detective who's retiring, even though he doesn't want to retire, gets a lead on a case he's been working for decades, and has to follow it up with his adult son, who I guess they have a little bit of a dysfunctional relationship. There could be fun there. There could be entertainment there. Who knows? This is written by Joe Kelly. The name is familiar, but it's not ringing a bell immediately. Apparently he's written things like Deadpool and Savage Spider-Man. But yeah, it's a new book. It's an indie. If something about, the father-son relationship and a detective solving a murder is interesting to you, maybe you might consider this book this week. And finally, I told you it was a short week. We're going to go to the one book that I would buy this week if I could buy just one book. And the reason it's the one book I would buy this week if I could buy just one book, because I'm only buying one comic book this week. And it's this one. House of Slaughter, issue number 11 from Boom Studios. Here is the description. New series artist Antonio Fuso joins returning writer Tate Brombal to reveal the next chapter of Jace Boucher's story. No longer the monster hunter he once was and unaware of Aaron's fate, Jace's new mission is to protect the orphans under his care. Can he save them from not just the monsters, but his own rage and guilt? One of these children may be in even worse danger than Jace knows, as a strange pair of eyes watches him from the woodland shadows. Okay, so why am I buying this book this week? Well, because it's in the universe of Something is Killing the Children. And that's it. That is it. Jace is an okay character. He's watching over a bunch of orphans. And he's got challenges. If I was not into Something is Killing the Children and I read this description, I would be not super excited about this comic book in general. But because it's part of Something is Killing the Children and because I love Something is Killing the Children so much, I'm going to pick up this book this week. But that's all it has going for it. And that's why it's my just one book pick of the week. All right, I wasn't kidding when I said that if you had better things to do before I got to this section of the video, you should just go do them, because there wasn't much to talk about this week. It is very, very slow. If there's a book that's coming out this week that you're excited about that I didn't mention, let me know down in the comments, because I'd like to maybe pick up more than one comic book this week. This is one of those weeks where usually I'm like, yeah, let me try something new on a flyer, and nothing presented itself to do that. So if you, like I said, have a book that you're excited about this week that I didn't talk about, let me know down in the comments. As well, if you appreciate the fact that I make a video even in a week that's kind of stinky, likes are appreciated by me, so why don't you go ahead and smash that like button. All right, that's it. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.